So again, thank you for being here this evening, and I'd like us now, I'm going to start at the end here and work our way this way. And my first question for our panel is, first, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where are you now, and if you're here at the high school, what are you engaged in, what are you doing, and if you're out of high school and a graduate, what are you doing there?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kacey Richards, and I graduated from the University of Kentucky in 2017, and I'm currently at Xavier University getting my master's in Health Services Administration. My parents both taught in the district, and my sister teaches in the district currently, so I have a love for Mason, and I'm glad to be with all of you tonight. And I will be starting at Westchester Hospital July 1st for my last rotation of my program, and hopefully get hired on thereafter. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Hunter Taylor and I graduated Mason last year in 2018. I'm currently a first year at the University of Cincinnati studying operations management, pursuing a BBA in operations management and finance. I'm also involved in the Klodzic Business Scholars Program, which is an honors business program at UC. In high school, I did a couple internships with Comet Savings and Loan, and then another internship at Cintas, and this summer I will be returning to co-op at Cintas.
Hi, my name is Danielle Peters. I graduated in 2015, and I will be graduating from UC this spring. I am a finance major. In post-college, I'll be working at Cincinnati Children's as a treasury analyst. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Kate Solimini, and I'm a first year at the University of Cincinnati. I am currently pursuing a degree as a BSN, a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing.
Hi, I'm Katherine Geiger. I graduated Mason in 2017, and right now I'm a second year at the University of Cincinnati studying electronic media and marketing.
I'm Alexia Thomas. I'm currently a senior, so I'll be graduating this year. I'll be going to Ohio State, majoring in marketing, minoring in fashion merchandising. And then here at the high school, I run track and field. I'm in part of a Mason Inclusion Club and SIBS, and then I'm also in the Comet Savings and Loan Internship.
Hi, I am Nanda Nair. I'm a sophomore here at Mason, and I'm an active member of Drama Club, and I've also been a part of the Young Women's Club for a year now.
Let's give our panel a hand just for being here tonight, being brave to be up here to answer questions. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to throw out a question, and the question that I have first, and we'll start at this end if that's okay. What has helped you the most during your Mason experience? So when you think of the Mason experience, what's been the most helpful for you to feel prepared, future ready as a graduate going out into the world? And if you are a graduate and you're out there doing your master's, what did we do here well that prepared you? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, here at Mason, it has really taught me to be patient with myself, which is not really something that you'd think about, but it has really helped me become patient with myself, my surroundings, my peers, because if I don't understand anything, it's okay. I understand that it's okay and that I can ask my teachers, I can ask my friends to help me out, and I don't have to like lash out at anybody else or be mad at myself if I don't understand anything. So yeah, patience is definitely up there.
Like I mentioned earlier, I'm part of the Comet Savings Loan Internship, which is our school bank, which is over there. And I'm in charge of marketing, so I oversee the entire department, and just being able to be a part of that and figure out what I want to do, which is marketing, really helped me. And being able to work with my peers and problem solve. And we have a teacher, but we are allowed to go out and do stuff ourselves, and we figure things out on our own. So just having that experience, that real world business experience, because we are students running a bank, and being able to do that has helped me a lot.
I think what helped me most at Mason was the integrated media intern class with Dale Connor. It was a really, really immersive class, like projects that we were given, he kind of took a step back, and we were in charge of organizing them and like communicating with the people that the projects were about, and with adults, like in emailing back and forth, and like interviewing people, having to set up and schedule. And it was a lot of like hard skills that I like still use today, and like how to email people, how to communicate with people, how to set things up. And I just think that him like putting us in positions to do things like on a team or on our own without like someone guiding us along every step of the way really prepared me for how you have to handle things in college.
What I think helped me the most was the Westchester Hospital internship that I did. Mrs. Gentine actually set that up for us. But you had to like interview for it and apply for it, which is kind of like a real life application of how you would get a job. And then it was just nice to see like what you would actually be doing in the future, especially for nursing, because the academic side is so different from like the clinical side. And so like, especially your first year, it's like really hard academically, but like you have to realize that like that's not going to be the rest of your life. Like you're actually going to be helping people, and so just like seeing what your future is going to be like was really neat.
So kind of going off what everyone has said, my senior year was the general manager of the Comet Zone, and I think that this idea of what Mason's developing with experiential learning is great, and I think that that's really what set me up for success. But the reason it set me up for success wasn't because I figured out that I wanted to go into business or that I liked a certain aspect. It was because I found my voice, and I learned how to manage people, and I learned how to talk to people and handle conflict. And I got to do it in a setting where I could fall a little bit, but I was never going to fall down. And there was always someone to pick you up and help you and guide you along the way, but you also had your independence. So I think this whole idea of having that experiential learning is beneficial because you know what you're going to do, but it's also beneficial because you get to kind of fail a little bit and try out different things without falling down.
Yeah, I was also a part of the experiential learning. Like I said, I did an internship with Centos in supply chain management. But what actually led me to doing that internship were the Empower Hour and luncheons, and they were held about once a month. And I got to learn and meet a lot about the business world. I got to meet a lot of business professionals, and I think that really set me up for success, not only with networking, but finding out what I want to do. I had never heard of supply chain management before we had a couple professionals come in from Centos and educate us on it. I also got to learn a lot about professionalism, business etiquette, anything from making a resume to interviewing, and that was stuff you can't just learn in the class and something that wasn't just taught on a regular basis. It was really learning more about outside of the classroom and about the real world.
So I wish that I had the experiential learning that came a little bit after me, but I was the president of Comet Savings and Loan my senior year, and that really excelled me to find my passion in business, but also with working with individuals and leading, because being a part of a team like that, Mrs. Donnelly does a great job, but we're kind of on our own as well in an aspect, because we kind of have to figure it out, and then at the end of the day, if she has to help, she has to help, but she really pushes us to work as a team and collaborate with each other. Also, classes such as like accounting and different things let you find your passion and take classes that you're really interested in, so that was big for me.
Thank you very much for your answers. So we heard a little bit about what's going well and what's really prepared our students, current and graduates. So now I'd like to flip that and challenge you to think a little bit about what advice maybe, or what did we miss? Or what are we missing? Or what could we do more of? Maybe we did a little bit and we could enhance it or amplify it, or we're just not doing it at all, and you really wish we would have spent some time preparing you for this because you hit the real world out there and it just didn't feel like there was a gap there. So if you could talk a little bit about that, that'd be great.
So the first one was the experiential learning, and you guys have really nailed that, so that is good. But I would say a lot of public speaking. We did have ECA, but public speaking was a huge thing that we did take one class, but I feel like going through college at the University of Kentucky and now in my master's program, exams are kind of going by the wayside. It's a lot of you do a project and you present on it, so public speaking is huge. And then also Microsoft, Excel, how to create a PowerPoint, working with Microsoft Word and all the functions throughout that. We have, in class we work on Google Docs, Google Slides and all of that, but once you get into the real world, it is all Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint. So really focusing on that because as a business major, I worked a lot in Excel. So probably those two things.
Yeah, kind of stemming off what you said, the group aspect and kind of working in a collaboration is something that almost every class I have and every project I work on is with a group. Nothing is individual, especially in the business world. And I wish I had learned those group dynamics and group skills more here while at Mason. So maybe doing more group projects, working more closely with a team rather than, you know, being individually graded. And then another thing, there was a financial literacy class that I took as a sophomore, and that was a great class, but I can tell you that I don't really remember any of it because it was not applicable to a 15-year-old at the time. And I wish I had taken that at an older age or learned more about it at Mason, learning about taxes, learning about the economy, learning about politics, stuff that you can teach it as a young age, but no one really uses it until they need to use it. And now being out in college and being in the real world, I wish I had known all that information.
So I think it's not what Mason could do more of, but less of, and that's the stress of academic rigor. So I think my senior year, I want to say that we offered like 21 APs. Does that sound right? Something like that. I'll tell you, I'm in the same honors program as him, graduating college with a strong GPA, getting the job I wanted. I took 2 APs all of high school. I had a good GPA. It didn't seem good at the time, and now I sit there and I'm like, why was I upset about that? But it's this idea of take the APs, get the good GPA, grades. You have to get into good college. You have to get a good ACT score. Yes, all of that matters, but at the end of the day, it's the skills that enable you to sit in an interview and say, this is what I'm passionate about. This is how I followed that passion, and this is how me following my passion changed something. And you can't do that because you took AP Stats or AP Psych. Those are great if that's what you want to do. If you want to go to Harvard, then yeah, maybe focus on APs. But if you want to succeed in a real world career, it's about getting involved outside of classes, getting involved in organizations, taking the classes that are these experiential learnings, take 2 APs out of your schedule so that you can take a study hall, so that you can go do things after school. You need to have a life. It can't just be about the academic rigor, because that's not how it is after you get out of high school.
I'm gonna build off of what like Danielle said. I think just like learning like outside experiences, because it really helps with you like how much you have to interview and stuff. Like I had to interview to get into my like certain area of college, which was nursing. And then I know in like the future we have to interview for co-ops. And so like if you're sitting in an interview and literally all you focused on was like taking all the AP classes, you can't like explain anything real life. You're like, oh, I sat in AP Stats and learned this. Like that's not helpful. And so if you make time to do like outside experiences, like when I went to Westchester, I learned like so much about what nursing was actually about. It's like really helpful to be able to like talk and explain and like realize why you're passionate about what you want to do.
One of the main things I would say as well are the Microsoft skills. I know there's like a Microsoft Office certification class, which was really, really good and really helpful for me. I almost feel like it should be like a required class, just because in my classes, like even with people like who graduated with me at Mason, they'll be like, how the heck do you use Excel? And I'm like, well, I think I remember from class. But so just like technical skills there. And as well as like, I don't know, making some sort of like curriculum or core class about like professional skills as well. Like how to interview, like how to make a resume that doesn't just look like everyone else's. And like just really any like skill that has to do with applying for getting into like a program or like a job, I think was something that I kind of felt like I had to figure out on my own. Yeah.
For me, I'm going to say the whole idea of personalized learning. I think some teachers take that too literally. I had a chemistry teacher who literally just gave us a packet every single week and said, learn this. And in chemistry, that is, and it's not my strong suit. That was very hard to do, to sit in class and just look at the paper the entire bell and not understand what's going on and not have any basis for any of the information in the packet at all, and then get tested over it and then be surprised why we all got a bad grade. I think the closest teacher that I have to doing that is my accounting teacher, Dr. Scott Farrow. He will go over the information, we'll do a work together part of the assignment, and we'll do it on your own part of it. So you're actually applying that, and I think that's the closest I've gotten to personalized learning, rather than just getting information and expected to know it and then apply it and then getting graded on it.
For me, going off of what they said before, the stress is pretty up there with all the AP courses and all the honors courses and everything. I mean, I don't want to say competition, but like everybody wants that, you know, good grades. Everybody wants that, you know, 4.0 GPA to get into the college that they want. So many students get so stressed and are under so much pressure because of this, which is like completely set aside because, I mean, obviously they're focusing on that GPA. So I guess student care could get like a little bit more attention. I know the idea of like care rooms are proposed, but if it was like actually put into play, that would be very, very helpful.
So I'm hearing some great themes here, and hopefully that this is prompting you to think a little bit, because we will turn to you here shortly for your ideas of how we capture what we've heard here and how we can begin to shape some ideas here for Mason City Schools as we move forward. You mentioned care rooms. I think that came out of our student voice. We tried something new this year with Innovate K-12 and Ignite Your Vision. Is that where it came from? And Christine McCormick over here, if you just raise your hand if you have questions about that program. It is something that we have tried to ask our students, what do you want to have here in care rooms, and all kinds of ideas around caring for the whole student came up in those, which is really important to us. Okay, so for a last question, and then you can always, if you want to add anything to this, any advice as we move out. The question I have is, what are you most nervous about? Whether you're a undergrad and you're moving out, what are you most nervous about for the future? And if you're in college, what are you most nervous about that would help us think through, boy, is there something we can pay more attention to here? And we've heard a little bit about stress. We've heard a little bit about making sure we have some of the right content skills offered. But is there anything else that we just haven't hit yet?
Well, I'm a sophomore, so obviously there's like not much that I know about college. I'm in financial literacy right now, so I am learning, and throughout the class, the first few weeks, there was so much I did not know. And I think, like Hunter said, whatever he learned in financial literacy, he hasn't really used that, I guess. So yeah, I'm a little worried now, but so I guess I'm just nervous about the entire college experience because, I mean, there's not much that I know. So hopefully throughout the semester, I learn more about college life, campus life, and everything like that. So, yeah.
The thing I would say I was most nervous about is just those business classes that I took. Am I actually going to be able to apply those when I'm in school? Like I'm taking AP Micro and Macro right now. Will that actually help me when I if I pass get the 3 or above, if I get put into the upper placement class in college, will I actually be able to understand what's going on, because they already expect me to have this higher level of knowledge. And then just so much time that we have more in college, I'm stacked back to back and I'm involved in a lot of stuff here. So am I going to be able to effectively keep those skills going and do the same thing in college?
I would say something that I am the most nervous about for people going into college is community, which is something kind of weird to talk about coming out of high school, but I think that the most important thing for me coming to college was finding community around me that supported me and that pushed me to be better. And the first week of college is big go time for finding your people and your friends. But I think that if there is something that I would mark as the most important thing to me in college, yes, academics are important and I try really hard in them to succeed, but it's the people who are around me and the kind of person that I think that they shape me to be. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, okay, how can this tie into Mason High School? And that might look like implementing some sort of program or something that can connect you with either people who you're graduating with or even people graduating from other high schools who have like similar interests or who are going to be like in the same programs as you. Just going in, like you feel like you're just lost the first week, like you know maybe your roommate, but if there's something that you can do to kind of cultivate community on campus, like even before you get there, I think would be super helpful, because getting there and meeting people is really scary, but it's really good.
The biggest thing for me right now is just learning how to time manage, because you have so much more time, but like you don't at the same time. You're not like taking as many classes, but you don't have like the same schedule every day and stuff. But like you have so much work to do, and so like just like finding out how to like manage your time and motivate yourself to do everything is like a big thing for me right now.
So Alexia, I'm going to start by answering your question. Yes, those APs will pay off. Either you'll get out of your classes or you'll know what they're talking about. So it's good that you're taking those. I'm not trying to, I know I said that that was something that we need to put less stress on, and I believe that, but it's also, they do pay off. I would say my biggest thing, so on campus, I help run a first-year leadership program. So during the first week at UC, there's this thing, and we call it like the org fair, and 500 organizations line up, and you basically pitch what you do to these freshmen. And so what we do is we help develop those soft skills that you don't necessarily have coming out of high school. And really what I see in that is they'll go through this interview process, and that one big thing we stress is, what are you passionate about? Like, what do you care about? And they're like, well, in high school, I got a 32 on my ACT. And we're like, okay, so what do you care about? And they can't distinguish being a good student and being passionate about something. And their passion is their good grades and their academic rigor. And so I would say, again, kind of putting less stress on that and giving students more opportunities to find out what they can put their time and effort to outside of their grades, whether that's doing something like an org fair at the beginning of freshman year for upperclassmen to really tell the underclassmen what they do and what organizations we have available, or doing something like this with freshmen as they come in, but really making sure that they know what's available to them and how they can utilize it to their benefit.
Yeah, Alexia, by the way, I took AP Micro and Macro, and if you're a business student, highly recommend it, because I got out of both classes, which was a total of 6 credit hours. That freed up my schedule a lot, and I'm not an econ major, so I don't really miss out on anything. But the thing I would say I'm most nervous about is trying to figure out where I fit in outside of college. So I'm thinking forward. You know, I'm doing all these different internships with different companies, but trying to figure out where I belong in a company culture. A company is, in the real world, is very different from high school or from college. And I think, you know, we come into high school, we're all forced into one school based on our district, so we don't really have much of a choice. And then we get, you know, graduate and realize you can choose a college, and you don't really know, like, what do I pick? You know, how do I pick what's best for me? You don't know what's best for you. And I think that's something I'm very nervous about going forward, is I don't know what company is best for me, where, you know, I know what I want to do, I know what I want to work on, but I don't know how I'm going to fit in, or, you know, what I personally like take a passion in, like she was saying.
So I think what I will say is what I'm nervous about for those that are coming out of high school and going into college is the technology aspect. Technology is great, don't get me wrong, but like Carol Lehman said in her speech when she addressed the class, I think it was last year, or get rid of the phones and live in the moment, and because that will really take you further than anything, because when you are sitting in class or working on a group project, you're not communicating via text message, you're communicating face to face, and if you're not, then you're probably not getting the best grade. And also, yes, the AP classes, quit worrying about them. While they are great, yes, they do help you, but for those that are still in high school, enjoy your time. Go hang out with your friends. Go do something that you like. An AP class is not going to define you, but, you know, finding your passion will. And those that are in undergrad, do the same. Enjoy your undergrad years, because let me tell you, master's is not as fun at all. So really just enjoy that and, you know, live it up.